Now we're going to look at, well, layouts. How do you position things where you want them? This gets a little tricky. It's not as simple as just saying rows and columns, and we'll see why. All right, first thing we're going to do is make a couple text editing controllers. Remember when I said working with the text field, you can do it the hard way or the easy way? We're going to demonstrate the easy way now. All right, so we've got our two text editing controllers. What we want to do now is actually work with this layout a little bit here. When we look at this, we just simply have the text. What we want to do is have a text with a field and text with a field, and then a button underneath. So let's go ahead and work with this. We've got a column, and in the column we have children. Let's go ahead and make a row. The row also has children. Visually, nothing's changed. What we can do next is we can just simply say, look at our hot reload, and you see it says please log in. Our row's invisible, but it's there. Now, in the row, we're going to say new text. And in here, let's add a new text field. We want to set the controller, and this is our text editing controller. Notice how we don't have to handle the on change or even make a function because it's handled by the text editing controller itself. Let's save this. And there's an exemption caught by rendering library. Where's our text field? Let's do a full run and see what happens. There's a reason why this is happening, and now you see everything's blank. Let's actually expand this error and see what's going on here. Has size is not true. Well, that is a pickle. What does that mean? The following assertion was thrown during perform layout. That gives us a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Flutter is saying, okay, you're laying things out on the screen. Perform layout is going to determine where they go. Box constraints forces an infinite width. Box constraints forces an infinite width. This is a common issue a lot of people don't understand. Let's comment this out and notice how suddenly it compiles and runs. Boom. But the minute we go to use the text field, we have an error. And if we actually try to rerun this, sure enough, blanks the whole thing out. So how do we use this? Why can't we just do it? It makes no sense. We're going to say new expanded. And in the expanded, we're going to say new text field. Let's run it, and suddenly it works, as expected. What is going on here? Okay, it's very simple. The label has a fixed size. The text field, though, is considered a greedy widget, meaning it's going to take as much space as you give it, and it's just going to keep going. So Flutter gets a little confused under the hood and says, hey, how big is this thing, really? So what the expanded does is it says it expands to take up the rest of the screen, or the rest of the widget that we're a child of, and then fills the text field to fill that. Let's go ahead and finish this out. You can see here's our row. Let's grab this, and let's just copy and paste. Save some time. Hot reload picks up, and sure enough, we now have a username and a password. We want to change this a little bit. because we don't want to see the password being typed. Now suddenly it works like a password field. What we need to do now is, well, you guessed it, figure out where our column is. And this is where indentation really comes into play. Here's our column, and you can see it ends there, so there's our row. We're going to add a new padding, and for our padding, let's do a new edge inset all, and let's just do 12. Padding, of course, has a child property. We're going to do a new raised button. We're going to say click me. And in here in the on press, we're going to actually just print some information out. What we're going to print here is the username from that controller. And we want to call the text property. And let's do a full reload just to be safe the code's going to work as intended. And when we click that, you can see log in and then whatever we typed. So those are some unexpected things that you're going to run into. Now, notice how we added a padding. If we didn't, and let's just take this out, notice how, hey, padding's required. If we just did the button with 0 padding, and we can actually do a padding with 0 padding, which really makes no sense, but you can do it. You can see how the button is actually right up on this line. It would be very easy while they're trying to click in here to accidentally click the button. So padding just allows you to kind of give some extra space here. You can see now the button's moved. We had to do the expanded on both text fields, otherwise each text field would try to gobble up as much of the screen as they could, and it would have resulted in the program crashing.